There is a quiet erosion of confidence that happens not in failure, but in conversation. You begin to speak with intention, your mind aligned with your words, and before the thought completes, another voice moves over yours, louder, faster, unquestioned, and in that moment you feel something subtle collapse inside. Not anger, not fear, but doubt. Doubt about whether your voice deserves space, whether finishing your sentence is worth the effort, whether silence might be safer. The Stoics understood this erosion long before modern psychology gave it a name. They knew that repeated interruption is not just rude behavior, it is a social conditioning process. Each time you allow yourself to be talked over without response, you teach others how much authority you believe you hold. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that a man's dignity is not granted by the crowd but maintained by inner discipline. Yet most people surrender that dignity unconsciously in everyday exchanges, meetings, relationships, family discussions, where speed is mistaken for strength and volume for wisdom. Stoicism does not teach you to fight for attention. It teaches you to occupy space so fully that attention adjusts naturally. This lesson is about 6 phrases that do not beg, do not attack, and do not explain. Phrases that operate as boundaries, not weapons, and when spoken with calm presence, they stop people from talking over you without creating resistance, without escalating conflict, without betraying your inner balance. What follows is not advice for becoming louder. It is training for becoming unmovable. Phrase 1, let me finish this thought. Most people believe interruption must be met with either silence or aggression. They rush their words to compete or retreat into quiet to avoid tension. But the Stoic path rejects both extremes. When someone speaks over you, they are not always intentionally disrespectful. Often they are unconsciously testing whether you will yield the space you occupy. And when you immediately soften, restart, or fall silent, you answer that test without realizing it. You tell them that your thoughts are flexible, interruptible, secondary. The phrase "let me finish this thought" works because it does not argue and it does not apologize. It simply states reality with calm authority. There is no emotional charge in it, no accusation, no justification. It is not framed as a request but as a boundary, and boundaries spoken calmly are far more powerful than defenses spoken emotionally. The Stoics understood that control begins with tempo. Whoever controls the pace controls the interaction. This phrase slows the moment down, it interrupts the interruption, it forces the other person to confront the fact that they stepped into your space prematurely. Seneca warned that people learn how to treat us from the standards we tolerate, and every time you abandon a sentence halfway, you train others to cut in again. When you use this phrase correctly, with relaxed posture, steady breath, and unhurried tone, something shifts, the room recalibrates. Not because you demanded attention, but because you demonstrated self-respect, and self-respect signals value more clearly than any raised voice ever could. This phrase must never be rushed, never sharpened with irritation. Its strength lies in stillness. When spoken without tension, it communicates that you expect your words to reach completion, and people instinctively honor expectations that are stated calmly and consistently. Phrase 2, I was not done yet. There is a certain kind of authority that comes from restraint, not from elaboration. The phrase "I was not done yet" carries weight precisely because it contains nothing unnecessary. It does not challenge the other person's idea. It does not invite debate. It does not attempt to justify why your thought matters. It simply states a fact, and facts delivered without emotion are difficult to challenge. Marcus Aurelius practiced reducing speech to its essential core, believing that excess language diluted clarity and weakened presence. This phrase reflects that discipline. It works because interruption thrives on hesitation, on social uncertainty, on your fear of appearing rude or confrontational. When you say "I was not done yet," slowly, evenly, without edge, you remove that uncertainty. You make the boundary visible without turning it into a conflict. Psychologically, this phrase resets hierarchy, not by dominance but by certainty. People are far less likely to talk over someone who appears fully grounded in their right to speak. This phrase should never be followed by explanation. Explanation weakens it. Silence after stating it strengthens it. Allow the pause, allow the weight of the statement to land. The Stoics believed that strength is revealed not in reaction but in composure, and composure is exactly what this phrase projects. Used consistently, It retrains the people around you. They begin to wait, not because they fear you, but because they recognize that you do not surrender your space easily, and in social dynamics, what you do not surrender becomes respected. Phrase 3, hold on, this matters. Not all interruptions come from dominance, some come from urgency, excitement, or impatience, but the effect is the same. Your voice is displaced, your thought fragmented. The Stoic response is not to accuse intent, but to redirect attention. The phrase hold on, this matters, does something subtle and powerful. It reframes the moment. You are not saying stop, you are not saying you are wrong. You are elevating the value of what you are saying without diminishing the other person. Stoicism teaches the discipline of distinguishing between what is essential and what is noise. This phrase signals essential. It tells the listener and the room that your words are not filler, not rambling, not something to be rushed past. They are intentional, and intention commands space. Psychologically, people instinctively pause when they sense importance, especially when that importance is expressed calmly rather than emotionally. This phrase must be delivered without urgency, without sharpness. Its power comes from conviction, not volume. When spoken slowly, it resets the flow of the conversation. It turns the interruption into a misalignment rather than an offense, allowing you to continue without friction. The Stoics believe that emotional escalation hands control to others, but calm redirection preserves inner authority. This phrase embodies that principle. It allows you to reclaim the floor while maintaining harmony, and harmony, achieved through self-control, is far stronger than compliance achieved through force. Over time, people begin to associate your voice with substance, not noise, and substance naturally discourages interruption. Phrase 4, I will come back to you in a second. At a certain level of inner discipline, you no longer feel the need to defend your space, instead you shape it. This phrase represents that shift. When someone interrupts and you say, I will come back to you in a second, you are not yielding and you are not confronting, you are containing. Containment is a Stoic skill rooted in self-command. Epictetus taught that freedom is not the ability to do whatever one wishes, but the ability to remain sovereign over one's own actions and responses. This phrase demonstrates sovereignty in real time. You acknowledge the other person without surrendering the structure of the conversation. Psychologically, this is powerful because most interruptions are driven by a need to be seen, not a desire to dominate. By acknowledging them briefly, you neutralize that need while preserving your authority. The key is what follows. You do not pause for their response, you do not look away, you continue. Speaking at the same pace, with the same calm tone, this communicates that you are the one guiding the exchange, not reacting to it. Stoicism teaches that order is calming and chaos is exhausting. People instinctively follow those who create order, even if they resist it internally. This phrase creates order without force. It subtly establishes you as the reference point of the conversation, not through status or volume, but through composure. Over time, those around you begin to wait their turn, not because you demanded it, but because you consistently demonstrated control of flow, and flow control is perceived as leadership in social settings. The phrase must never be delivered defensively. If spoken with tension, it loses its power. It must sound inevitable, like a natural pause in a structured exchange. When used correctly, it teaches others that while their voice will be heard, it will be heard in sequence, and sequence is the foundation of respect. Stoicism is not about silencing others. It is about refusing to be disordered by them. This phrase embodies that refusal quietly and effectively. Phrase 5. Let us not overlap. I want to be clear. There are environments where interruption hides behind politeness, enthusiasm, or shared excitement. Voices overlap, sentences collide, and clarity dissolves into noise. The Stoic response in such moments is not irritation but grounding. The phrase let us not overlap, I want to be clear, removes emotion from the equation entirely. You are not accusing the other person of rudeness. You are not framing yourself as a victim. You are elevating clarity as the priority. Stoicism values clarity because confusion feeds emotional reaction, and emotional reaction feeds loss of control. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to see situations as they are rather than as they feel. This phrase reflects that discipline. It reframes the interruption as a technical issue rather than a personal one. And people are far less defensive when a boundary is framed around quality rather than ego. Psychologically, This phrase positions you as someone who values precision, not dominance, and precision commands respect in any serious environment. It also subtly places responsibility back onto the interrupter without accusation. The overlap is presented as something to be corrected, not punished. The power of this phrase lies in its neutrality. Neutrality disarms. It removes the emotional fuel that interruptions rely on. When spoken calmly, it resets the pace of the conversation and establishes a shared standard, one voice at a time. This phrase should be followed by continuation, not pause. Pausing invites negotiation. Continuation asserts certainty. Stoicism teaches that the man who governs himself does not need to govern others aggressively. This phrase governs the space without force. Over time, people begin to associate your presence with coherence, and coherence naturally discourages interruption. Those who thrive on chaos find no leverage here, because clarity leaves them nothing to grip. In this way, the phrase becomes more than a boundary. It becomes a signal of inner order, and inner order is unmistakable. Phrase 6, silence, then continue speaking. The highest expression of Stoic control often requires no words at all. This response demands more discipline than any phrase because it denies impulse completely. When someone interrupts you, instead of reacting, instead of asserting, instead of retreating, you pause, not abruptly, not dramatically, just long enough to be felt. You look at the person calmly, and then you continue exactly where you stopped, without apology, without restarting, without speeding up. This silence is not weakness. It is command. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the strongest man is the one who remains steady when provoked. This is steadiness made visible. Psychologically, this pause does something profound. It exposes the interruption without naming it. It forces awareness into the room. The interrupter becomes conscious of their action without being accused. And awareness often produces restraint where confrontation would produce resistance. The silence also communicates complete self-trust. You are not afraid of losing the floor because you know you own it. People who rely on dominance games find this deeply unsettling because dominance games depend on reaction and silence offers none. The key to this response is consistency. The first time it may feel uncomfortable. The second time it will feel deliberate. By the third time, others begin to adjust automatically. Stoicism teaches that character is revealed through repetition, not performance, and repeated calm silence trains others more effectively than repeated verbal correction. This response must be free of tension. The pause should feel natural, grounded, inevitable. When done correctly, it creates a subtle gravity around your speech. People begin to wait instinctively, not because you demanded it, but because your presence feels complete, and completeness leaves no opening for interruption. This is Stoic authority at its purest, quiet, cantered, immovable. The Stoics never argued for space. They embodied it so fully that space formed around them. When you stop allowing people to talk over you, you do not become louder or harsher. You become heavier, more grounded, more deliberate. Some people will resist this shift because it removes their leverage. Others will respect it because it reveals strength. Both reactions are useful. Both tell you the truth. These phrases are not tools for control. They are practices of self-governance and self-governance is the root of all authority. Practice them calmly, consistently, without emotion, and watch how the world adjusts its volume around you. If this lesson strengthened your presence, subscribe to Stoic Spark. Press the bell so you never miss the next teaching, and comment below which phrase changed the way you see your own voice.